Hey, everybody. I am Admiral Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? Glad you could all join us. It just got off another live. We're going to be a little less silly. We were having a good time over there. We're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that's a little bit less silly. That's right, Sierra Terry. Balls, said the queen. If I had two, I'd be king. Okay, we'll change the subject. Yep. We've got Incarnasoul. Glad that you're here. Positive Life. Good to see you, Sierra Terry. The News Nut. Joey Girl. Glad you're here. Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Howdy. Scooby Lee. Good to see you. K-Thick. Miss Sunrise Dawn. My Others Keeper. Yes, absolutely no ball talk. Lumen. Good to see you. Goosebump 801. It's always a pleasure. Kristen Melinda. Wouldn't be a show without you. Hello, Heather. Glad you're here. We got a new name, people. Hello, Butterfly, aka Pajama Pixie. It was fun. Make no mistake, that was a fun show. Judy Lee, it was hysterical. No question, right? We have a lot of fun. Jennifer Folsom, good to see ya. Yes, I just did see you. Chili in the Valley. Hello from Canada, California. Third Eye Open. Mimi's Suppressive Pups. God, I love that name. Peace be the journey. Hello. Texas Shenanigans. Love shenanigans too. Nat B from Canada. It is an honor. 3 balls up there. Nice to see you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Quibble's funny as hell, man. She really is. Zelda, good to see you. Mon, always an honor and a pleasure. The inappropriate heifer. It's always great that you're here. That's funny. Quick on her feet. You know what? So many of you are, though. Hello, Gene. Never get tired of you and your balls. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Can't hear that enough. You know what I'm saying? You just can't hear that enough. I hope everybody does, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Says, am I the only one that gets a big grin on their face when Tommy acknowledges you in the roll call? Well, I hope you all do. It's fun. Texas Shenanigans says, love seeing you on STS. Thanks for being Reese's butch. You know what? It's a full-time gig, people. I'm not going to leave that job. I promise you. I'll have her back forever. She's my best friend. She really is. We have a very cool gig going. Joey Girl. Am I really engaged, or was I pulling your leg? Well, let's just put it this way. If I were engaged to be married, I probably wouldn't tell anybody. I probably wouldn't. Chrissy, Never in Newton, good to see you. I probably wouldn't tell anybody because of the nature of how people get. Sassy Savage, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for calling me the bestest. I love that. I really do. I love that. Dan Shelton's making a BLT if anybody wants half. You know, the problem with that is everybody's going to want half. It's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Unless by BLT you meant Bosco licorice and Turkish taffy. That's what Lenny and Squiggy used to do for BLTs. They did it a little differently. Teresa, you like the title? It's a little tongue in cheek there. For if you were not on the previous channel, there was some. We're hellaciously immature over there, and the talk sort of veered off into body parts, which happens a lot because we're pretty immature. Body illusion, thank you. It's I'm working on it. You know something? Lumen says, I love a BLT, hold the tomato. That's me. I'm not joking. I eat bacon and lettuce sandwiches. I don't put tomato on it. You have twin brother cats named Lenny and Squiggy. I love that. Yeah. Last Christmas, my wife said she wanted something in the drive day that went 0 to 160 in 4.5 seconds. I got her a bathroom scale. Ouch! That is just downright ugly. but it's funny. But it is funny. WB, how are you? Sorry. I'm chewing a candy. Terribly rude. West Coast Fancy Nancy. Where is the cat in the basket? It's an excellent question. Now, I will tell you this. Currently, because I'm on the other side of the country, I've been working with a different cat, a different professional. But Squirrel Nut Zipper, I call and check on her every day and talk to her. She's doing well. Wow. Teresa says, I'm lovingly raising almost 20 different varieties of tomatoes right now. Should be in the ground within the next 2 weeks. I didn't know there was 20 variants of tomatoes. To be honest with you, that blows me away. But apparently there are. Yeah, you got to laugh, Dan, to be sure. And congratulations on 38 years of marriage, man. I love that. I love that. You do realize that what a success that is, man. You know how many times you got to overcome something that runs everybody else to the divorce attorney's house to get through 38 years of marriage? Good for you. I love that, man. I'm not kidding you. I love that. Yes, Squirrel does miss me, and I call her all the time. Yeah, Stray says, don't forget to do them YouTube things, peeps. And by that, how about hitting subscribe? If you're coming over to watch Captain or Admiral Tommy, and you've never hit subscribe, do it. Hit subscribe. We're what we're trying to do here. We get a lot. We get very excited when new people come on board. Texas Shenanigans do a split screen with a cat in a basket. It's not a bad idea. Unfortunately, she's the only time she works well is if I'm sitting right there. She's a very difficult animal to work with. Other people don't seem to do so well with her. I'm so glad you had a laugh tonight. Yes, I've divulged a whole different side of me on Cults and Crims, to be sure. There are over 400 varieties of rice, too, says Jennifer Folsom. That I knew. Spanx Calhoun's mom, my first wife, was very integral in the mapping of the rice genome. She worked on the project that did the entire sequencing for the rice genome, and so she talked about. I learned so much more than I ever wanted to know about rice. Kathy, good to see you. Kathy Ogram says, dropping in for a few minutes. Well, we're really glad you're here. Not sure how much wisdom I can pull out, but we'll keep you laughing one way or the other. Frank Humphreys. Hey, I'm baking banana bread at the moment. Man, she is a diva. Oh, yeah. There is nobody that's more of a diva than Squirrel Nut Zipper. Maybe's Suppressive Pups. Thank you so much. Welcome to green. You look fantastic in green. So, well, there you go. This is perfect, right? Let's segue into old Kristen Melinda. Since I love Kristen Melinda, we'll use her. She's usually open for that. Miss Sunrise Dawn, feeling like a pretty crappy parent today. You know something? This is worth talking about, right? This is worth talking about because we do this, right? We do this all of the time, and we do it. This is a great, one example. Kristen Melinda's talking about not feeling like a great parent. My partner was talking about this earlier, talking about not being a good mother. This is something that all of us, I think, struggle with. Yeah, there's no instruction manual, right? That helps you raise a well-adjusted child in the world that we live in, right? We're all winging it, and it's the most frightening thing in the world, isn't it? I mean, what could be scarier? It's one thing if I screw myself up, who gives a shit? But if I start screwing up kids, now I start feeling like I'm a loser. Now I start feeling like, I'm not leaving the earth a better place than I found it. In fact, I'm a monster. And that's a feeling that can draw us into some really, really negative places. Kristen Melinda, you're not a bad mother, right? And I think deep down, you probably know that, right? But we all start to question ourselves because, again, who's a good mom? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but where's the good mother that we kind of hold up as the standard? And for that matter, father either. Who is that standard? right? Because there were, we watched shows growing up that showed us great fathers who or great mothers, that did just amazing things. Within 30 minutes they always had everything all worked out, right? I grew up, the Cosby Show was a really big one. During my years, Cosby was the father that everybody in America wanted to have. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Looking back on it, seems a little odd. Passenger Shaming says June Cleaver with a laugh. And, I was kind of hoping one of you would bring up June Cleaver. I really was. Any of those 1950s perfect Stepford Wives kind of parents that they used to have on shows would have done. But June Cleaver is probably the greatest example of that ever. Incarnasol says, especially tough when your kid is a bit different, like neurodivergent. You know something? Every kid is a little different, right? Every kid's a little different. I sure as shit was a little different. I'm sure that most of you are. Dan Shelton says, been a teacher and a dad for over 30 years. You're right. It doesn't come with a book to tell you what to do. The best you can learn from your mistakes, and tomorrow is another day. You know what? That's beautiful. Now, if you're not a parent, you're not getting off the hook easy. Carol Brady, another good one. She vacuumed in pearls. Damn straight she did, right? But this is a cool subject. It's a really cool subject, because I don't care if you're a parent, you're not getting off the hook. All right? You're not getting off the hook. We hold ourselves up to standards that are complete and utter bupkis, right? We hold ourselves up to standards that don't exist. Yeah. Well, no one has the patience they wish they had. Seriously, raise your hand if you're really happy with your patience level, right? Nobody's happy with their patience level. All of us wish we were a little bit more patient, and kids can push those buttons worse than anything. But if you're not a parent, you're not getting off easy, right? Because all of us start holding ourselves up to other people, which is one of the dumbest things in the entire world to do anyway, right? But we do it. We start comparing ourselves to other people. Passenger Shaming gets it. My patience is, that's my worst. It's my worst trait, is the fact that I'm impatient. It is absolutely my worst trait. I don't take it out on others, right? I'm not a jerk who gets mad at other people if they, if they take time or whatever. It's just, I start working on myself, and I start circling the drain. And Sir Tedrick Walker, 43rd anniversary this June. Congratulations. That is absolutely amazing. I am envious more than I can possibly put into words. Nat B says, Kristen, I used to give myself timeouts. We all have those moments. The mom from the Partridge Family, yeah, she was a pisser. That was another one. All of these ideals, right? All of these ideals. We really start holding ourselves up to these things. That's dangerous. You understand that? It really is. It's dangerous. What you need to do is you need to figure out exactly. Yeah, right. We've come over. We've overcome so much in those 43 years. You would have had to. You would have absolutely had to, right? One of my favorite quotes of all time, Theodore Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. When he said that, do you realize how little comparing we did as a society? Honestly, keeping up with the Joneses was looking across the street at your neighbor. There wasn't Facebook, right? There wasn't Instagram. There weren't people out there who are faking this perfect life to show you so that you can feel shitty about yourself, right? Passive aggressively shaming everybody that we know through Facebook and Instagram so that we show you the perfect life that we're living, right? Here, check out a vacation of me and so-and-so, right? Look, we're, we just bought a new car. Check this out. Right? Here's my son. He just graduated, he's heading off to college on a full scholarship, right? Nobody comes up and says, hey, here's a picture of my kid. Last night he crashed the car. And when the cops got there, he had a quarter ounce of crystal meth on him, right? He got taken to jail. No one's making that post. All of us have stuff. But now we live in a world where absolutely you're kind of forced to compare yourself to people, right? Sadly, the people that we are comparing ourselves to these days don't exist, right? You're comparing yourself to the idealized version of your friend or college roommate or whatever, because we go and we look. Yeah, I feel like when I see that stuff on Instagram or Facebook, the majority is BS. Of course it is. Of course it is. We have come to a place now, right, where everybody is trying to put this image of who they are out there, right? So we have the world that we live. You go to work, you do what you do, right? Then there's the BS that we show the world. Hey, check it out. This is me. Just got a new car, right? Life's fantastic. Here's me and the wife out to eat. We only go to the best restaurants. Here's us on vacation, right? And what do? Honestly, we begin to start, no joke, trying to compare ourselves to these people. And then you start getting these ridiculous feelings like, I think I need a new car, right? My Prius has got 100,000 miles, and my best friend keeps showing me pictures of a BMW he just bought, right? And I'm getting to that age, people. I'm getting to that age where I probably need, maybe a Corvette, right? I'm at that age where I need to start having that midlife crisis where I stop feeling like start acting like a young kid again, right? It's so much worse than it used to be. What do you do when your so-called best friend brags all the time about her kids? Call her on her BS. Call her on her BS, right? How many kids does she got? 4? Yeah. How old's the oldest one? 14? Oh, great. Is he playing with himself yet? About that age, isn't it? No, I would honestly just, what you have to do is learn to take your friends with a grain of friggin' salt, right? Learn to realize that what you're seeing is a lie. What you're seeing is a version that they want you to see. Thank you, Space Diesel gets it. I need a Maserati. Really funny too. This is a great, perfect example, right? I have a friend who bought a Maserati. He bought a Maserati not because he thought these are really reliable cars, right? You buy a Maserati, you never got to put any money into them. No, he bought a Maserati because he wanted to look like he was way more successful than he was. I mean, honestly, it's the only reason. Now, this dude has been out of prison for a shorter period of time than I have. But he has already purchased himself a Maserati. I assure you, this is not going to end well for him. It's not. Car's going to break down. It's going to cost him a fortune, right? He should have bought a Honda. For real. He should have gotten something that, but we try to keep up with the Joneses. Trying to keep up with the Kardashians. What about keeping up with the Kardashians? It's not a show I can watch. Well, you know what? You do realize that show. I don't know if you guys watch the Kardashian show, but if they get ready to get married, they're going to bring in a consulting firm to see what would be the best person to pick. In other words, how tall, what nationality. If they're black, do we go light skin or dark skin? I'm not playing with you people. They literally engineer every single thing they do for the purpose of clicks and doing a really sick job of pointing out to the world just how messed up we are. For real. You want a life lesson for how jacked we have become as a society? Watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Honest to God, if there is anything on television that shows us how much worse off we are, please let me know what it is, because I think that's the top of the food chain. Sarah, normally, I'm glad you're here. Sassy Savage says, I knew 3 men that bought Maseratis and parked in yard for show. None drove them. Well, it's if you're going to park it in your yard, it's not a bad investment. If, however, you intend to drive them. But, people, if you're so hung up about what people think that you will go and buy a car, is an absolute horrific investment because cool means that much to you, you got problems, right? You got massive Massive problems. I cannot watch reality shows. They're not reality. Well, here's the deal. I remember sitting with my ex-wife, and we were on the couch together watching television, and we were discussing Duck Dynasty because that was a show that her mother was a pretty big fan of. No, my ex didn't watch it, but her mom was super into it, and she was looking to see how many awards they won for Emmys for the television awards, right? And the there was an award given to Duck Dynasty for best writing in a reality show. Best writing. That means the words that they were exchanging back and forth were put in their mouths by a writer. They give awards for it. Why would you have a script in a reality show, right? It seems to me that you wouldn't need, right, anything reality. My family just adopted a 140-pound Newfoundland. He poops like a dinosaur. Good God, Dan. He is a dinosaur. Lisa says, can't lie, I miss my BMW. So much fun to drive. My Honda is good old reliable, though. You know what? I've bought really stupid Italian sports cars, right? I've done all that stuff. Nothing wrong with wanting a Ferrari. Nothing wrong with wanting a Lamborghini. But if you want a Ferrari or a Lamborghini because you want to make sure that your friends know you got one, then you probably need to do a check on where you're at in life, right? May I suggest you start getting a friggin' pen and a piece of paper and start journaling about who you are. Start writing down what it is that you are doing. Kathy says, you still love Duck Dynasty. I never actually saw one of them, right? I know it was very, very popular. I know it was hugely popular. Those guys made an absolute fortune, but it's not reality, right? It had a script writer, kind of a bummer, right? But currently, this comparison being the thief of joy, comparison is destroying our world. I'm not joking. It is. Our kids start using the phones to compare themselves to other people and to famous people or whatever, starting at about what, 10 or 11? Think of how bad we are as adults, running and looking at Facebook to see what your ex is doing or what your friend is doing or any of that crap, right? Imagine if if they had started training us on this before we were 10. We're messed up by social media, right? Dramatically, all of us are. We're all comparing ourselves to other people on Facebook and on Instagram and on all of that crap. And we didn't even have this stuff as kids, right? This stuff all came out when we were what, in our 20s and 30s? What the hell is going to happen to kids that we are raising on this stuff? Carol Ann says, been stuck on Honda since my first 78 hatchback 5-speed. I like standard transmissions. I have to think to drive. I like a gear shifter too, because it's just a lot more fun. Now, if anyone's going, don't you have a Porsche? My Porsche is a car that you can actually research. If you look in things like DuPont Registry or Robb Report, the ones that people sell expensive, like exotic automobiles in, you'll see Ferraris that have 2,000 miles, Lamborghinis that have 5,000 miles, and the Porsches all have 100 because you can drive the wheels off of them. They are dependable. They're actually really great cars. They do cost a crap load of money when you need repairs on them, but they're a lot of fun to drive. Yeah, Sassy Savage says, I love manual drive cars. Do you know that they're going away? Do you know that right now, honestly, there are so few car companies that still make a clutch? Outside of Porsche, I don't know too many that are doing it. And Porsche only does it on a couple of models. They release very few cars with clutches. I actually bought a t-shirt online that says "Save the Clutch" because it really is a problem. Comparison drives evolution. Mates are picked by comparison, but now so much is fake that natural selection is all out of whack. Stray, you're absolutely right. I mean, no, comparison is absolutely a normal thing. That's part of what we do, right? No question. It's something that we do. This has made comparison something completely different than what it used to be, right? As I was saying in the beginning, we used to look across the street, keeping up with the Joneses. You know, the guy that you worked with at work, if he bought a really nice car or whatever, you kind of saw that, and it made you start feeling like, like you really wanted to. But now your friends will force you, right? Now you get a ding, right? Ding. And now your neighbor's going to send you pictures of what's going on, right? Where his kid is going to school, how many touchdowns the kid just scored. Oh, it's like, you know what it reminds me of? Those letters that people write at Christmas. Don't you just want to stick your fingers down your throat when you get those? You know, so and so is doing great. He just started a job at. Sorry, but honest to God, I mean, why do I want to know any of that crap? Seriously. Tell me about your kid that ended up in rehab. Nobody does that. Nobody's honest enough to do that, right? Hey, how's your kid? He's in rehab. Got arrested 4 times. I think this next one's going to be a felony. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed out about it. Ever had those? You ever see a Facebook post that said my kid got arrested last night? Probably not. Probably not. Nevertheless, we will sit and compare ourselves to these people that send stuff out. Right? We will compare ourselves to stuff that doesn't exist. And if this sounds like a reoccurring theme, well, it should be. Right? You're looking at pictures of women that don't exist. They're not even real. And you go, oh, no, I know this actress. Oh, yep, you do. And wait till you see what the things that they do to that actress before they put the picture out. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or mean to anybody, but have you ever seen Ellen DeGeneres when she's not on stage? Huh? She's not recognizable. They literally put a mask on that woman to send her out on stage. And it's pretty ugly because it makes the rest of the world start thinking things like, I can't age, right? I got to do everything within my power to make sure that I don't age, whatever that costs. A facelift here, a nip and tuck there. It's pretty jacked up, people. Mimi, have a great night. Thank you for spending some time with us. Izzy E says, imagine if we could have a watermark on every photo that's been photoshopped. Do you know, no joke, that there are people talking about this as a law? Because there are so many deep fakes out there, they're actually talking about passing laws that would do exactly what you're talking about. All right? That would do exactly what you're talking about. It would put some kind of it would let you know every time a photo has been played with, right? Tommy Bird says social media, yeah, fake news. Fake news. It's really kind of it's an odd world we live in, isn't it? For real. It's a pretty odd world we live in. Says, never had an issue with being fat, but the aging thing is getting to me. You know something? Yeah, deep fakes are dangerous. Let me tell you something about a deep fake, people. I'm working with somebody who has been putting me into a computer, right? So that there's a Captain Tommy. It's actually pretty fascinating stuff. I had a conversation with myself, right? He's getting this thing put up, and I can ask myself questions, and the AI, which sounds exactly like me, answers the questions. It's wild stuff to listen to, right? It really is. But at the end of it, I'm sitting there going, good God, right? We got absolutely no idea what's real and what's not anymore. We live in a world where I promise you, people, the people that are working with me right now, Calhoun's heard it, Johnny's heard it. I think Quibble might have too. But it was so bizarre to me. I got a phone call. I picked up the phone. It's me. Right? Computer version of me. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And I said to him, well, it's more than a little creepy. Miss Sunrise Dawn. It's more than a little creepy because when I asked him questions, he says stuff like, nah, that cat doesn't, like, it's literally, it's not my voice sounding like other people. it's me. It's how I talk. It's the things that I would say to questions that I ask. Pretty damn frightening, right? Pretty damn frightening. And I said, how did you do this? He said, I just plugged every single video that you ever did into a AI program. 1,800 hours of me talking. Well, learned quite a bit about me in that time, but it's scary. It really is. It's scary. Someone could place you in a crime scene. Yeah. Well, this is something that on a side note, this is something I had real problems with when I was in prison, because when you get arrested, one of the things when you get your sentence and they tell you all the things, that one of them is you're going to submit to a DNA to give up a sample of your DNA that they can put into the CODIS system, so that anytime a crime happens, they can go, and if they find DNA, they put it into CODIS and they'll go, oh yeah, it's that Tommy Scoville guy, right? Everybody's in the system. But they took it at the county jail. And then when I got to prison, they took it again. And then when I got to the next prison, they took it again. And this just continued to happen, right? So I got to Phoenix, and it was like the 40th time they were taking my DNA. Honestly, it was way over a dozen times. And I just said, I'm not giving you any more DNA. I'm not doing it. You can take me to the hole. And they did. They took me directly to the hole. And then the warden showed up and he's like, what's your problem? And I said, man, how many times do I got to give? He goes, well, the policy says that when you come in. I go, dude, you got enough of my DNA now to go put wherever you want. All right. You got one sample. That's great. You got 13 samples. That makes me a little nervous. Really does. It wouldn't take much if they wanted to, to ruin your life. But really, the takeaway today, people, doing investigations is going to be a nightmare. Yeah, sorry, people. I don't know who that is. Nappy says, I keep my Facebook locked down only for family and very close friends and never had an issue. Yeah, Shannon Smith, I could be framed easily, to be sure. I mean, absolutely I could. Sorry. Moon Shadow says, try having a 24-year-old blind autistic son with developmental delays. And I'm thinking getting pulled over for drugs would be cool, because that's somewhat normal. You know what, Moon Shadow? Thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine that was easy to write, but it beats the crap out of suffering in silence, because that does sound overwhelming, doesn't it? I mean, it sounds absolutely overwhelming. God bless you. Thoughts and prayers with you. That cannot be easy. It really can't. My father was hey Vixen. My father was very fond of saying the expression, I cried because I had no shoes, and then I met a man that had no feet. That was a big one with my dad, and it stuck with me. It really did, and has served me well. You get to prison and you just want to feel sorry for yourself for the entire time you're in there. It kind of is one of those things that all of us do when we find ourselves in those positions. And I remember there being a real paradigm shift when I started to realize how many people in there were so much worse off than I was. That would really it was honestly, it was a life-changing thing when I started to look at people and think, my God, I should never have ended up in prison. Now, I don't mean that I shouldn't have been there, because I mean, I was guilty. I got convicted and I did time, but I was too smart to be doing the crimes I was doing. I was too smart to be breaking the law. I'm not stupid. I'm not a dumb person, but I did really friggin' stupid things. Permission to come aboard. Absolutely, Kyle. Glad that you're here. But yeah, it's a Moon Shadow. I love you. I hope I didn't bum you out putting you up there. That's but it really is a huge thing. This is something I can't beat the hell out of enough. If you're going through something and you're really feeling it, if you're going through things that are hard and you choose to be stoic, if you choose to, I don't want to bother my friends, I don't want to bother family, so I'll deal with this one on my own, right? I don't need, I don't want to drag anybody into this, or I don't want to do that, or isolating, pulling back, right? Doing all of the things that you do when you start feeling like things aren't going well, right? When we're not, hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. When we're not killing it, we withdraw. And then we lose connection. And that starts to drag us deeper down. And the more you start to feel like crap, the more you want to isolate. Now you feel like, you know what? Life sucks. And everybody who sees me knows life sucks. I think I'll just suffer in silence, right? You know what, Moon Shadow? All of you too. I'm glad that you did. I'm really glad that you did, right? Hey, it's been a long time, Dan. I'm doing what I can to stop going to jail. It's the right thing to do. My problem was drugs. My problem was that I needed to come up with 7 grams a day to stick in my arm, and that was the constant. Every single day, I had to get up and come up with $700, and that was to not get sick. That was not to walk around feeling high and giggling, and what you normally think of when you think of somebody that's doing drugs. That's just to be able to not get sick. Thank you. Good. You're in the right place, right? You're in the right place. Isolating will kill you. And sadly, it'll take friggin' forever to do it. You understand? It'll take you forever to do it. The reason that I spent 3 decades on heroin was because I isolated so bad from the rest of the world that I disassociated, right? Just like they force people to do in the cults. But I did it voluntarily. I made sure that every single person that I know was addicted to heroin. I didn't have any friends that weren't, right? Every single person I know stole or sold their body. Every person I know. Because the only two ways that people came up with money to do that is they sold their body or they stole, right? That was it. So everyone I knew was a thief or a prostitute. And that isolation, right? You said, there were a lot of people there every day, right? I surrounded myself with junkies. Sometimes I'd be in a room of 30 of them, but there wasn't this crap bit of connection that was taking place between me and anybody there, right? Connection doesn't happen. It can't, right? It can't. You put 7 grams of dope in your body, you think you're connecting to people, right? The amount of painkiller that I had coursing through my body, I wasn't capable of anything. What do you say there, Bo Cephas? Big Bo came by to say hi. Sarah normally says, my life sucks today. I'm glad you're here, Tommy. Sarah, I have some thoughts and prayers for you, hon. Sarah's been with us a long, long time. And again, thank you to not suffer in silence. Thank you. It's a great example, Sarah. It really is. And it's an important thing. I want everybody else to kind of get the memo. I know there are people who listen every day and they hear people say really, really hard things. They watch people write stuff down that has just got to be hard, right? It's not easy watching, people hurt. But when you read a comment from someone that says, try having an autistic blind child, it makes other people willing to say, I'm going to share. Shauna B says, Tommy, I had never heard the saying, don't suffer in silence until the lifeboat. And now I'm trying to make that real. It's hard to share. You're damn right it is. You are damn right it is. There's nothing harder, right? There's nothing harder. That's why people don't do it. Passenger shaming, I'm glad you're not lurking. I really am glad you're not lurking, right? And it is a good community, man. This is a great group of people. This is a great group of people. Evil twin sister, still lurking, but I'm here. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for popping your head up and saying hello. And I hope everybody just stretches their legs out a little more, right? The next time you come in, maybe say hi twice. Once in the beginning, once at the end. If you haven't hit subscribe, do it. Hit the bell for notification. And then when we go live, right, you'll know it. The world is full of good people. You're never alone. Yeah, as long as you don't force yourself to be alone, right? There are a lot of good people on this earth. There really are. There are a ton of good people on this earth. I got to a point where I didn't believe that there were. And that's really, really sad, right? I really believed that the good folks were gone. Tampa B says, hi, Tommy, brushing my fluffy, batty kitten, but listening. I know that kitten. I know that kitten. Moon Shadow, thank you. Honestly, when she says great group to be sure. And when you come out with things that are difficult to say, other people hear it and then they share. It's the concept of the group, right? It's the concept of people helping people. Fairly simple concept, right? But we have found through science that if you have soldiers who are struggling, then you put them in a room with other soldiers who are struggling. And if you have people who are recovering from being, from a survivor of SA, you put them with other people who are survivors of SA. And what ends up happening is people realize they're not alone, right? Realizing you're not alone is, like the sun coming through the clouds and the Jesus clouds and all of that. Like for real, that's real. When you understand you're not the only one. I've told the story many times. But when Q was trying to make me believe that I could be a sober human being, which was a tall order, I promise you. I'm doing dope every day in there, right? And he's trying to convince me that I could get clean. He brought me to a guy that was doing way more dope than I was. And this dude had gotten clean through things that Q had helped him to do. That was enough. May sound crazy, but for 3 decades, I didn't believe it was possible. When I saw somebody that had gotten out of it, I'm like, if that fool can do it, I can do it. If that fool can quit 12 grams a day, that means it's possible. And that may sound stupid as shit, people, but I did not think it was possible. I didn't. I thought it was absolutely an impossibility. I could not do it. Maybe other people could. I couldn't. I was not capable of living without it. Seeing that somebody worse off than me was capable, I'm telling you, the group thing, it works because of that fact. We all think we're unique. We think we're so much different than everybody else. Nobody can be as screwed up as me, right? Nobody can hate themselves as much as me. Nobody can do whatever. Shannon C says, I was out to dinner tonight and I was asked about my peak and pit of my year. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't have a lot of peaks because of medical issues and anxiety and depression. Thank you, Tommy. Well, I'm glad that you're here, right? We have to, you make a decision, honestly, right? You make a decision that I'm going to do this. Whatever your, if it's sobriety or it's you're just trying to live your best life or whatever. When you make that decision, you got to shove every chip into the center of the table. I'm not trying to like pull one great cliche after another, but you have to be all in, right? Thank you, Yumena. I love you, Anna. I use this example a lot, but when very often when people would sail to go find new land and you would land with your ships, if you really wanted to develop that land, the first thing you did was you set your ships on fire, right? Because if you didn't, at the very first sign that anything crappy was happening, what are you going to do? You're going to get back on the boat. You're going to go cooking across the water. And you're like, that's it. I'm done. This sucks, man. It snows here. Did you know that? Did you know it snows here? Those guys ran first chance at any adversity unless you light the boats on fire, right? Burn your friggin' ride home and watch how fast people start building a shelter, right? When somebody shows up here and stops suffering in silence, they're literally asking for help. Thank you, Dan Shelton. Says Tommy, I just subscribed to your channel. You're a good man. Thank you. I wish you and everybody the best. God bless. Thank you, Dan Sheen. I'm glad that you stopped by with us. I really am, and thank you for the subscribe. It means a lot to me. I mean that. It means an awful lot to me. Deborah Riskin says, "Hi, Tommy. First time speaking. Woohoo! Thanks for your wise words. I really needed it. Struggling to finish my thesis right now. Hey, you are among family, so take a little time, right? If you're struggling to finish your thesis, believe it or not, I have worked with people in the exact same position, at least 4 of them so far. 2 are relatives, but I would back off. Honestly, anytime I'm ever working on anything and I feel like I'm struggling, stop. Right? Change everything. Get all of your senses engaged. Stop what you're doing. Walk around. Do whatever. Right, and then go back to it. That always served me well. It really has. It's always served me well. Shannon C says, "Thank you for creating this channel. I just found it a couple of months ago through Reese. It's helped me feel less alone." I love that. It's kind of the goal of the boat. Hello. There we go. It's kind of the goal of the boat. I don't want, feeling alone sucks. Feeling alone sucks. Big time. And it makes us feel less than. One of the worst, when we withdraw from society, when we decide that we're not going to hang out with people anymore, we're not going to talk to people, and we begin to isolate, right? The feeling that you're alone instantly makes you feel like a failure, right? If I wasn't, I'd have a ton of friends here right now helping me, right? There would be a lot of people that would care. But because of the things I've done in my life, and the ants start taking you apart, it's amazing to me just how quickly I have watched people come together and completely revamp their life. Simply, no lie, simply connecting with people and no longer suffering in silence, no longer feeling that the world is kicking your ass and I'll just be quiet. I'm just going to push that down. Nobody wants to hear that. You'd be shocked. You really would. You'd be shocked. I love it when somebody starts opening up. I had a great conversation. I won't put the person on blast, but I had a great conversation with somebody today who's a member of the in good standing of the lifeboat and has been for a long time, and she's struggling. Got some really heavy crap going on in her life, but it's amazing. And she would be the first to tell you, I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. But after 20 or 30 minutes of having a conversation, we always feel better. It's not magic, right? You pay a therapist to sit down across from you for an hour and listen to what you say and then go, how does that make you feel? Is that what you thought it was going to be? They asked the simplest questions in the entire world of you, right? But all we're paying him to do is listen to us. It's a pretty jacked up world that we find ourselves in when we have to pay somebody to listen to us. Isn't it? It's jacked up. But see, we don't talk to each other anymore, right? So you got to actually hire a person to listen. Holy shit, that's crazy. Vixen, to anyone suffering in silence, please reach out. We are a family, and we will get through it together. We love you. The crew's got you. I love that. I love that. I love that. Self-care includes rest. So I'm going to go avoid being a dirty stay-up tonight. I'm going to go take my you-know-what to bed. Good night, Tommy and crew. Love you. Izzy, I love you. I'm glad that you are here. Have a great night's sleep. Thank you for spending time with us. Very cool. Is there a way to reach people in chat? Shannon, what you want to do is you want to head over to one of our other 2 platforms, right? Outside of the big red button, we have a Discord server. I'm going to be lying to you if I told you I understood Discord very well. I don't. I know that when I go in there, there's a lot of people that are always in and talking to each other, and it's just a great environment. I'm not very good at it, but it's kind of like this, except everybody's just communicating. It's like a chat, but there's not me talking, right? Uh, and then we have the Facebook group page. And what that is, you go over and you put a post up and say, hey, trying to connect with some people. I'm trying to find my five, right? Around here, we talk about having five people that you can call if the ship hits the sand. And by that, I mean, when you get to that point where you feel like I tried everything Tommy said, right? I felt like I was going to use, and I got up, started to change my physiology, right? I started doing some push-ups, started walking around, get my heart beating. That didn't work. So I started to journal and write stuff down, and that didn't work. So I went outside, changed the environment. I went for a walk, seeing different stuff. That didn't work. I'm still thinking about doing dope. We start calling the people in our five because we know that 8 minutes of diversion usually can get you off of that craving. It takes 8 minutes, right? And there's a lot of people here that will happily give you 8 minutes of their life to make sure that you don't end up relapsing. It's not hard to find people here that will do that for you. Pretty good group of people. You know what, Miss Dragon? I dig that. Miss Dragon says, once you can forgive yourself and love yourself, you can be content being alone. It has a whole new meaning. I agree. However, I'm super content being alone. I am. I have no problem being alone. However, if I'm not connecting with people on a regular basis, if I take that alone and I spend a week of isolation, I'll be a basket case. I'll be a basket case. I won't be worth a shit. It's just how it works. It's absolutely how it works. If I'm not connecting, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm in deep, deep trouble. Dan Sheen says, I quit drinking every time I run out of beer. Yeah, that was me. I quit. So as a heroin addict, you try to talk yourself into quitting every day. Every day you go, I'm not doing it today, man. This is the day. I'm going to stop doing this crap. I can't keep doing this. This is the day I kick. And then you really try to talk yourself into that, right? You're like, I'm not doing it. Today's the day. I'm not going to get high. I'm not doing dope. And then you get a phone call. A friend calls and says, hey, I'm stopping by. Or the sickness gets to where you go, screw it. And then you go out and steal, right? Or whatever it is you do to get your money. But I did that every day without fail. And then usually by about 2 or 3 o'clock, the sickness would get to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go out and I'm going to steal and I'm going to make whatever happen. But we're constantly quitting, aren't we? I mean, we're constantly talking ourselves into it. I've never met a junkie, never had a conversation with a junkie that didn't say at some point in the conversation when they were getting ready to quit. They're going to kick that crap. Not now, right? Not now. There's a lot going on now. But summer's rolling around. So when June gets here, I'm done, man. I got a plan, and my plan is starting in June, I'm done. Or, I'm gonna shoot dope all summer, right? But when the fall comes, because it's that back to school mentality, that's when I've heard it all. I've heard it all. The truth is, if you find yourself at that place where you go, you know what? You get to that point where you're like, I'm sick and tired of this. There's really nothing in my life that's worth saving. Right? That was a realization that, to say the least, was slightly depressing. There's just nothing about me I want to bring to the new guy. There's just not much of the old guy that I wanted to drag along to the new one. Why, Dan Sheehan, thank you so much. I am really glad that you found us. I really am. Yeah, Kyle says there's a difference between being alone and being lonely and disconnected, and damn straight there is. I really love solitude. I didn't used to, right? Um, I really have gotten to the point where I am very, very happy when I am alone. I love walking alone. I like working out alone. There are things that I do that I dig, um, the solitude of. However, when I'm hurting, there are 3 people that I reach out to because I'm not going to get better alone ever. I know this. I spent a long time, right? Like Dan, we're quitting every time I run out. I spent a lot of time doing that. And the one time that I was actually able to put the crap down, it was because a guy connected with me to a level that got me sober. And thank God he wasn't a jerk off for real, because he was black, I was white, and in federal prison, that's we can't be friends. That was a real issue, and both of us put up with a lot of crap to hang out. We really did. We put up with a lot of crap to be friends with one another. Hold on one second. Joe, CPP fam, says, "Hi, Tommy. I've been on the medical cannabis program now, and it's been four Mondays now, and I'm wishing that I never had started the medical cannabis program." I don't know what the medical cannabis program is, Joe. I'm super curious to find out, though. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. That's a beautiful thing, right? And it's always makes you feel good. There's something great about imparting any kind of wisdom you can to the next generation. That's a beautiful thing. I played golf the other day and then spent 4 hours talking to former students in the bar afterwards. It gave me a great feeling. I think it helped them. At least I hope so. I bet it did. I guarantee you. That's a huge thing. It really is. And I bet it felt good. It should. My goodness. I love living alone, but that also means I have to make an effort for connection that some people sense. What's that?
My goodness.
What are you laughing at?
Two amazing things.
Yeah.
Your clothes are all clean and hung in your closet.
Yeah.
And I just pooped in your toilet.
Shut up. Did everybody hear that?
No, because you have headphones in.
Quibble has been able to. No, they hear you on this, not the headphones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be this part of it. Here.
I just pooped in your toilet. That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, Quibble just dropped a deuce in the toilet that I use downstairs. I don't think you have any idea what a big deal
That's
this is.
a really big deal.
No, I don't. I'm
with
I'm
the
not
door open.
with the door. If I had known that,
open.
Yeah. How about that?
That means a lot.
Yes, I agree with you. The cannabis program. Where did I miss my guy here? Okay, yeah. I'm still not seeing the medical cannabis program here. Come on. Where we at? Let's see here. Tampa Bay, because it's affecting me at work. Now, do you mean that the buzz is screwing you up at work? Or do you mean that you're going to drop hot for a piss test and they're going to fire you? Because I'm a little foggy on why this is screwing you at work. Joe, CPP fam, elucidate. If you could, explain to me exactly what's going on with the grass and work. Poop talk. Yep. ×2. See? Oh my God, a female doing a stinker? Never heard of that. See? Gotcha. See, you got it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Dan says, I have a wife and 4 daughters, 4 dogs. The only time I'm alone is when I'm in the bathroom. I can see that. Medical cannabis, no thanks. I'm already fat and tired with some lazy and hungry. If I smoked weed, I'd overdose on inhibitions. You know something? I have the potential to eat way too much if I smoke the crap. When I eat it, it doesn't do anything for. I don't get the munchies or anything else. It just sort of knocks me out. I've been playing for 35 years. If it wasn't for Caddyshack, I'd have no reason to play golf at all. Beer, cigs, and we quote Caddyshack. We all suck. That's everybody else too. Yeah, I played a lot of golf. I actually worked in the industry, and that's everybody that plays golf. That's what they do. You know what, Jeremy Shelton? I will. Don't make me call security because I would. That doll could poop in my toilet. Chicka cherry cola. Yes. Well, she can always drop a deuce in mine. I've been trying to talk her into it for a very long time. She's a little. She has a very shy colon. So yes, we're all very impressed. I mean that. What is finding 5? Just 5 people in your life around you? No, Shannon, see, it doesn't work that way. And the reason it doesn't is because when you ask people who are not aware, right? So I'm a heroin addict. I love my family, right? I do. But I could talk to Johnny Scoville about my problems. Johnny really understands that, right? He's used it, right? He's been addicted to it. But if I try to have that conversation with a sister of mine, they have no concept whatsoever of what it means to need that fix. It's not something they can wrap their brain around. Doesn't make them a bad person. Makes them a great person, right? They didn't make the mistakes that I made, but they're worthless to me in terms of assistance. I need somebody that completely understands where I've been. Capiche? So you need to find 5, hopefully, within this environment, because everybody here will understand what you're going through. So try finding them over on like the Facebook group page or in the Discord server. Either one will work. Cricket was just dropping a sympathy deuce. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Joe, thank you so much. You know, Joe, I'm a little so are you bummed out with the buzz, Joe? Thank you so much. Are you bummed out with the buzz? Please explain to me what this is doing to you at work. Oh, you're very welcome. It's like talking firefighting with someone. It's like talking firefighting with someone who never did it. Army with someone who never served. Absolutely. It's the exact same thing, right? And it's the reason that, right? It's the reason that if you're a former soldier, we're going to get you in a room full of other soldiers because it's going to make the process considerably easier. Oh yeah, then you know what? Pull the plug, Joe. Pull the plug. If you don't like the effects that you get from it, stop it. Here's one of the lovely things. It's one of the few drugs that you can just stop. Right? You can. It's a drug you can just stop. I mean, you're not gonna. It's not like all of the other ones that's really an issue. Stop. If you're unhappy with it, quit. Quit. I promise. It's gonna be. You're gonna eat a lot less. It's gonna cost you a lot less in munchies. Yeah. If you're not feeling, don't take something that makes you feel uncomfortable. That would be bad juju. All right, people. That brings us to the top of the hour. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call it a day. I'll tell you why. Because that's why we're all so connected here. We just are. I'm going to be back tomorrow night the same time here. Yeah, I can do it. I just have to stay busy and I don't think about it. Absolutely. Here's the thing with cannabis is for a lot of people, it steals ambition, right? That really is the big deal, right? So most people, when they back off from it, find themselves far more productive, right? You're going to run into some coping skill issues if you've been using grass as a way to cope. But we do a million shows on that, Joe, right? Keep coming back. We do shows on coping skills. We do them all the friggin' time. Go back and start looking through some of those because this is something everybody goes through when they quit. Everybody does. You have to learn coping skills. I didn't have a coping skill until I hit 46. I promise you can do this. Lisa says, is the 5 strictly for addiction help? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are all in the same boat. Yeah? We are all in the same boat. And being a drug addict, yeah, it's a really bad idea. Damn straight it is. Now I'm getting the big picture. Sorry, Joe. Now I'm getting the big picture. So you were doing this. You have been addicted to stronger substances, and you were doing this. Yeah, no, it's never a great idea. It isn't. I'm sorry. It's now KP Nordic. I'm glad you're here. If we're doing harm reduction, if what you're shooting for is harm reduction, then trading off weed for crack or weed for heroin or whatever, that's great. Harm reduction is a beautiful thing. But if you don't need it, we're better off without it. 100 out of 100 times. Feel me? 100 out of 100 times. That's better. All right, relatable Reese, you ready? I'm gonna go raise hell with Quibble here. We'll see you people on the next one. I am Captain Tommy. I'm somebody Scoville. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Moon Shadow, you're welcome. Have a great night, everybody.